welcome back to FPL Spad, your best place for FPL content for the 23-24 season. My name is Spad. Today, you're joining me for a brand new transfer watch list for Game Week 11. I brought a new style here, which I think is better than the last style, and will help you pick your transfers more better. If you like my content, please like and subscribe to my channel for future FPL content. Now let me get on with this new transfer watch list. So, first off, my video's not working, so you won't be able to see me on video. I left a picture there of me, so you can see me on that. But this is transfer watch list for Game Week 11, my new style, where I look at the most 30 players transferred in for this game week and put them in the categories of must-buys, great transfer, good transfer, optional and lucrative, gamble, and avoid. And first up, we have Johnston. In my opinion, he is optional transfer to bring in and a lucrative, because I expect people to start bringing them in soon as there are good fixtures coming up, and he has been scoring a lot of points, so people will just be bringing him in for that if they don't have any other transfers that they want to do in on the main pitch, so they can bring in Johnston. But that's why, in my opinion, he's optional. Next up, we have Gay. I put him above Johnston. He's a good defender, and if Crystal Palace keep clean sheets, he's most likely to keep the bonus points, get the bonus points. So he's an optional defender to bring in. Next up, we have Ferguson. In my opinion, you should avoid him, because João Pedro's plays up front as well, so you find that place with him. And when Welbeck's back from injury as well, and any other player that they rotate with in the coming game weeks ahead. Because right now, the only player nailed down, in my opinion, is Mitoma. So avoid. Palmer, in my opinion, next up for 5 million is a gamble, because the fixture list that they got coming up, Chelsea have got some hard fixtures coming up. They had an easy fixture against Brentford, and he blanked in that game week. A lot of great people bought him in last game week, and that didn't work out well for them as he blanked. He didn't play ST like he did in the past 2 games before that. I think that was the reason why he didn't get any returns with Jackson playing. So I think he is a gamble, because he's on penalties. He did take the last 2 penalties, and he can carry on taking penalties, but against the teams that he's coming up against, I don't think he will score many points. Next up, we have Bowen. I think he is a good transfer to bring in at 7.4 million for that price range. He did blank last game week against Everton at home, in the game which people thought he would be making quite a bit of points, but Everton are quite good at away. They're getting the away wins and then instead of the home wins. So, but West Ham have got some good fixtures coming up in the coming game weeks ahead. So he is, in my opinion, a good transfer to bring in. Then we have Walker. In my opinion, he's optional to bring in. I'll put him just below Gay, because 5.3 million, I don't think he's going to get many attacking returns, and might keep a clean sheet here and there for City, but not many. So, in my opinion, he's an optional defender to bring in. Then we have White. I put him probably just below Walker, because his price point at 5.7 million is quite steep for Arsenal defender that I don't think will get many attacking returns. He could get some attacking returns in some easy games, but the majority of the games I don't expect him to get many attacking returns. He could get some clean sheets, but for the price point, you can get going for another defender instead. Like the next one, Saliba at 5.2 million. I think he's a better pick than White to bring in, as he's more likely to get attacking returns from set pieces and keep clean sheet points and bonus points. So, in my opinion, Saliba is a better choice than White to bring in. Next up, we have Wilson. I think he's a gamble, because we don't know when Isak will be back and when he will be benched. So but whenever he does play, he does get goals. He's got the best mid to goal ratio in the Premier League. So it's either optional or gamble, but there's so many other good attacking choices right now. I think he would be a gamble, in my opinion. He's on penalties for Newcastle as well. That is a plus. So I think I'll leave him at gamble. I'm going to leave him on gamble. I think I'm going to leave him above Palmer. So, less of a gamble. Then we have Pinnock. In my opinion, you should avoid him. He's not going to get the points that he did last game week. That was his first goal this season since last season when he got scored against Man City at home, the last game of the season. So, with the games coming up, they got hard games. I don't think he'll get many clean sheets against West Ham, Arsenal, or Liverpool. So, avoid him for that reason. Next up, we have Cash. I think he's a good transfer to bring in. His price is a sticking point, but the fixture list that they've got coming up is good. So, for him, I think he's a good transfer to bring in. But at the price point, I know it might be hard for some people to bring in. But if you've got the budget to bring him in, then he is a good player to bring in. But he has blanked a few game weeks. He doesn't keep many clean sheets, Villa. So you're relying on his attacking returns purely. So for that reason, I'll put him on the good transfer and not above Bowen. Then you have Soboslai. In my opinion, he won't get many goals. He'll get you assists because he moves up the pitch quite a lot. And always working hard in that midfield, up and down that pitch. So he did get his bonus points last game week, and he got 2 assists. I do expect him to get more assists in the coming game weeks, but not a goal, which we're looking for goals, especially at the price point at 7 million. For that reason, I put him on gamble, because for another player to get a goal, he has to get 2 assists. So I'll put him on that, and I think I'll put him below Wilson. So he's that below. So the more right you are, the more gamble you are. So the less of a gamble is Wilson. Then we have Haaland. People bringing him back in. People that took him out now call him back in after they lost out on the midweek. No, last game week against Man United, where he made 16 points, 2 goals and an assist, and all 3 bonus points. So, in my opinion, he's a must-buy to have in your team. So bring him in as soon as possible. And somehow even take -4 hit or -8 hit to bring him in, because he's needed. So I say must buy. So next up we have Saka. He's a great transfer, in my opinion. He's gonna get you points with the games that he's got coming up. If you've got that budget for him at 8.6 million, you're gonna probably have to sacrifice someone else in the team to get him into your team, depending how your team looks. But he's a great transfer to bring in. Next up, we have Mitoma. In my opinion, Mitoma is a good transfer to bring in. So I think he's better to bring in more than Cash. He's nailed down his position at Brighton. He's not gonna get rotated most likely because of the injuries Brighton have. I know that they're out of the Carabao Cup, so they only got the Europa and Premier League to look for. The Europa is still a problem to have, but I expect him to carry on playing with the games fixture list they've got coming up. It's easy, so he is good to bring in. So that's your man. Next up, Van der Ven. I think he's optional, probably below Johnston, because they got hard games coming up. Same as Romero, hard games coming up. Both of these two, they're not going to get many points in the coming games ahead, in my opinion. Romero's probably got a chance of getting attacking returns, about 4.9 million. With the games that are coming up, I don't think he is that much of a hurry to bring him into your team. Next up, we have Diaby. In my opinion, a great transfer to bring in at 6.7 million with the fixture list that Villa got coming up in the coming games ahead. So bring him in as soon as I didn't bring him in last week. I should have, but I couldn't afford him. I would have to do another -4, which I didn't really want to do. So he made good points last game week. That was his first big return in a while. He should be able to carry that on in the coming games ahead. So he is a great transfer to bring in. Then we have Alvarez. I think he's an option to bring in. With Man City don't have the best of games, so I don't expect him to get more points than Haaland in the coming games ahead. He did blank against United. I think that his purple patch is now finished. with the coming game weeks. Maybe later on I'll bring him back in when Watkins got harder games. We're gonna take him out, but in my opinion, he's optional, not a must-have to bring in unless you already have him in your team from before, and you might want to cash on his profit by selling him or keep him because you think he's gonna produce. Next up, we have Salah. I think he's a must-buy. Red hot form, only blanked one game week, and he's got Luton away next game week. So in my opinion, I'm going to be choosing between Haaland and Salah for my captaincy in one of the two, which I'll do probably on my deadline day stream. Hopefully, I'll have my video working by then for the deadline stream. But let's get on to the next player, Maddison. Maddison, in my opinion, is a good transfer. He's better than Cash. Not great because the price point, they've got hard games coming up, so a good transfer to bring in. Nunes, in my opinion, is a great transfer to bring in. I'll put him below Diaby. I think he will get goals because he causes chaos in opposition defenders, and even though he misses chances, he gets a lot of chances for himself. So that's the main part. Like, if he keeps getting chances, he has to finish 3 quarters, half of them, and that's good enough for me. And that is good enough to get points in FPL. So in my opinion, he's a great transfer to bring in, especially with the fixture list that Liverpool have got lined up. Next up, we have Watkins. In my opinion, is a must-buy to have in your team as your second striker to Haaland, because he will get you points. He did blank last game week, but he should have got goals. He was unlucky. Another game week, he'll not play that game again, and he'll get goals. But he's got great fixtures coming up, so he's got plenty of opportunities to get more goals in the coming game weeks ahead. So in my opinion, must-buy transfer to have. Next up, we have Timescast at 4.5 million. I put him just above Nunes because of his price point at 4.5 million. A very cheap Liverpool defender at 4.5 million, can get clean sheets, and he's on corners, so he might be able to get you some assists from his corners, because Liverpool do have big men in the box when they're doing the set pieces. So in my opinion, a great transfer to bring in at 4.5 million. Next up, we have Hichan. In my opinion, he's a good transfer to bring in. I'm going to put him above Mitoma, because even though Neto's been now injured, I think Wolves will carry on playing the same way they have, and he'll be playing a focal part in their attack in the coming games ahead, as he is the top scorer at the moment. He's got great pace. He was unlucky giving away a penalty the other game week, which wasn't a pen in my opinion. I think he'll get you goals in the coming games ahead, even against the hard games against Spurs, and then in the game week after. So a good transfer to bring in. Anderson, in my opinion, is an avoid, because I don't think he will get you attacking returns that he did in the previous game weeks that have gone past. You can choose Gay instead at a cheaper $500,000 price point, much cheaper, and probably get you the same amount of points as Anderson when they get clean sheets, and more likely to get you bonus points when they don't get attacking return. And I just don't think Anderson will get the attacking returns that he did in the previous game weeks. So avoid. Next up, we have Son. I'll put him as a good transfer for his price point, because he's 9.6 million. Depending how your team looks, like if you have got Salah and Haaland, you probably struggle, and Saka, you're going to struggle to bring in Son. So in my opinion, that's why it's a good transfer to bring in if you don't have them. So I'll put him just below Bowen, because Son does have hard games coming up, in my opinion, where he won't get as many points as he did in the previous game weeks. So a good transfer, but not the best. Then we have Doug Luiz. I think he's a good transfer to bring in. I'm going to put him below Mitoma, because Mitoma is a more attacking midfielder. So is Chan. I know he's a bit around the same price as them, as Hichan, but he's on penalties as well. That's one of the things that the other two are not. But Mitoma can take the odd penalty here and there, as we've seen last season, but he's not on the guaranteed to protect pens, while Douglas Luiz is, and he's looking like he's on set pieces and corners. So he's got great chances of getting assists and bonus points as he plays a critical part in the Villa team. Next up, we have Mbeumo. I think he's gonna avoid because I took him out the week before Chelsea game after he got his 13 points against Burnley because I didn't think he would get points against Chelsea. He was lucky to get the second goal against Chelsea because Mopé messed it up. So I don't think the games ahead against West Ham at home, Liverpool away, and Arsenal away, where he will get many points or any at all. So in my opinion, he's an avoid for that. Then next up, the final one, Nketiah, the most transferred in player to see this week. I think he's a gamble. I think it's a less of a gamble because he is going to carry on playing until Jesus is back. Because once Jesus is back, Nketiah will drop back down to the bench, most likely. So for that reason, he's a gamble on that. But he could be optional because you can bring him in and take him out. You can play him with that way where you mess around with third striker. But at 5.5 million, you're not really going to be able to replace him with another striker with these unless you've got money in the bank. So for that reason, I think he is a gamble to bring in. So, guys, that is it for the 30 transfer players in, most transfer players in for Game Week 11. You have 3 must-buy players that you need to have in your team. 3 great transfers that if you need to do any additional strengthening to your team or you need to get some free up some fund to get other players in, you can use Timmer's Cast to do that. You've got some good transfers to bring in as well, which every single one of them, in my opinion, are good transfers that can help you get a lot of points and move up those ranks. Some of them are differentials as well, like Hichan and Douglas Luiz. The others are pretty high in ownership, so you're mainly more or less just making your team as like everyone else's. In the optional and lucrative ones, I don't really see any lucrative players. Maybe Johnston, but the rest of them are more like optional players to bring in. If you feel like Alvarez is gonna start scoring a lot of goals in the next coming game weeks ahead when they've got hard fixtures coming up. Gay, if you think he's gonna get a couple of more clean sheets in the games they've got coming up. Walker, I don't think he'll get any attacking returns. I think I'm gonna put him below all 3 of them, really. I think White is more likely to get attacking returns than Walker, so I'm gonna put him below that. And then Romero and Randuren. Romero has got a chance of getting some attacking returns, so at 4.9 million, but I think they've got hard games coming up where they're not going to get many clean sheet bonus points because they've got attacking way of playing, so there's not many chances of you getting clean sheets either. And the gambles, I think Palmer is the biggest gamble out of all of them because of the fixtures they've got coming up. Szoboszlai, because I don't think he'll get any goals. He could prove me wrong, I wish he does, but he's more likely to get more assists in the game than goals. For that, and at 7 million, that's not what we're looking at for 7 million. Wilson, if I can come back from injury at any point, so I'm not sure when that is. So for that reason, he's a gamble. Same as Nketiah, Jesus will be back in a week or 2. So that reason, another gamble. Good for the current game weeks ahead, but gambling after that. And 4 awards in Ferguson, Pinnock, Anderson, and Bomo. Avoid all 4. Won't get you many points in the coming game weeks ahead, in my opinion. So that's it for this transfer watch list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's been different with me not in the video, so you can't see me, but I hope to fix it very soon. I might mispronounce some player names, but I hope you understood what I meant. If you like my content and the new style of my watch list, please like and subscribe to my channel. Please share with as many people as you can to help me grow to at least 100 subscribers by the end of November. Thank you again for watching me. See you next time. See ya!